Welcome. My name's Brad Bartholomew, and the title of this presentation is called GroupThink 3.0. When I was in college, a long time ago, I took a poli-sci course called International Relations, and I was assigned to read this book titled GroupThink by Professor Janis. This book focuses on the internal group dynamics of problem solving under very stressful situations. And that's the same focus of this presentation. Professor Janis, in his book, which was written 50 years ago, did two case studies of the two crises in the Kennedy administration. And in both of these crises, the same 10 or 12 men advised Kennedy. The first one, you may not have remembered, it was the Bay of Pigs. And it was a complete disaster. It was a CIA-led operation to overthrow Castro. And we sent in our special troops. We had a very rigid plan. Our troops were immediately captured and exposed to the world. And it was a horrible embarrassment for America because, you know, we weren't supposed to be doing those type of things. Then, about 18 months later, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis in October of 1962. And this, I assume most of you all do remember, this is when Russia put nuclear missiles in Cuba, and we had to get them out. And there was about 10 to 12 days in there where we weren't sure what was going to happen. And it may have been, in my lifetime, it actually may have been the closest we've come to wiping humanity off the planet. Although there is some current events that are going on that are also troubling. But I'm not going to be talking about any current events. And so in this second scenario, it was a remarkable, stunning success and in a very stressful situation. And today, when you hear the term groupthink said or referred to, it's usually referred to in a pejorative term. And it kind of, people use it to describe a very dysfunctional group of people that are making a bad decision. But I think Professor Janis's message is the exact opposite. It shows how good, hardworking, intelligent people can indeed come together and make a mistake, but then they can learn from their mistakes, and then when it's really critical, they can perform just remarkably. And in fact, to be able to navigate safely the Cuban Missile Crisis for a safe landing for humanity is just a remarkable accomplishment. And so I think Professor Janis's message is actually very encouraging. And I hope these presentations will also be encouraging, although we're going to look at a whole lot of awkward and dysfunctional behavior. So what's the purpose of these videos? And why talk about groupthink? There is only one purpose for making these presentations. And it's an idea that I think many of us have, and it's also a grave concern. I believe that our current divided society in America is dangerous for our future generations, for our kids, and in my case, grandkids. This constant fighting and theologically and ideologically and of course politically, where does it lead? And it can't lead anywhere good. It seems we're playing a dangerous game of divide and conquer with ourselves. And the sad reality is, we the people, we're cheering for these two tribes that are constantly fighting with each other in public. Another way to look at it would be, what world are we passing on to our children? Did our parents pass a perfect world on to us? No, they did not. But did they pass on such a wonderful world that we had good opportunities? I certainly think they did. And now it's our responsibility to do this for the next generations. And let me be clear, I'm trying to play the long game here. Where will America be in 10, 15, 20 years from now? And, you know, maybe we should use some old school techniques. Common sense. Common decency. Working for the greater good. Reminding ourselves of the responsibility of citizenship. You know, we hear a whole lot about rights, but there are responsibilities to have a civil society. And maybe we've forgotten some of those. And I also was thinking the other day, you know what might be healthy for our mental health? Maybe we should remember or try to recover a sense of humor. You know, before I finish my first cup of coffee every day, I probably do a boneheaded thing, one or two. And if you talk to my wife, she might say it's 3 or 4 things. But, you know, somehow I muddle through. And I've had a wonderful life, and I would like to pass that on to the next generation. I titled this presentation GroupThink 3.0 because it has 3 components. The first component, of course, is wisdom from Professor Janus that is still very applicable today. The second one comes from my profession. It's situational awareness. Situational awareness is the fundamental mindset that pilots use to land safely every time. A lot of other industries use it, but situational awareness is what we're going to talk a lot about in the first part of this presentation. And the third component of GroupThink 3.0, I've already mentioned it. It's a safe landing. Now, whether we're at home, whether we're at work or we're in our communities, isn't that what we all need, is a safe landing? And how will I describe situational awareness and safe landings? I just finished a 40-year flying career, so I have a lot of knowledge and training on situational awareness in the air and on the ground. And when you say on the ground, why are you using situational awareness? I was a union member for 30 plus years. So I have seen a whole lot of internal problem solving, group problem solving under stressful situations. And I'll try to learn and pass on some of those lessons that we learned the hard way. So what's the flight plan? First, we're going to deconstruct how we became a divided society. And then we're going to try to put team building lessons together so we can play as a team. And then third, we're going to see what kind of course corrections we might need to make going forward. But basically, what we're going to try to do is this is just my opinion, the way out of this is to focus forward, try to play as a team, and turn away from danger. That's what we're trying to do, or that's what I think might be a wise plan. And while I'm doing all this yakety yak, please remember, I'm not running for political office. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't even care whether you like me or not. That's not what's so important. We're trying to play the long game here. What are we passing? What kind of world are we passing on to our children? I also know that we're awash with data right now. My goodness, at our fingertips. I don't know where my cell phone is right now, but oh yeah, here it is. I mean, my goodness, look at how much information we have at our fingertips. But by the way, and we'll talk about it some more, it's always manipulated data. So I'm going to try to rest not on so much data, but I'm going to rest on a couple things. One is direct observations, things that I have actually seen. And two, experiences that I've actually had and been involved in. And three, I'm going to rely on the training I got flying airplanes and being in the military. So that's, but the data, you know, today, if you want to, you can find data to tell you anything you want. I always kind of laugh at, or chuckle, I shouldn't say laugh. People say, well, I do my own research. Yeah. There isn't anything coming out of this thing that isn't manipulated message to try to sell you something or try to control you. So I think it's kind of difficult for us to all do our own research, but we'll get through. So why, and I think I've kind of placed in this introduction what I'm trying to do, what my concern is. And if you want to bounce off now and not listen to the rest of it, the rest of the yakety yak, I greatly appreciate it. And I sincerely appreciate you thinking about where this, what world we're passing on to our children. And I hope I stimulate some thoughts, and I'm sure you'll have some good ideas on how to work that into your own life if you indeed also think it's a concern. For the rest of you, I have several more videos coming out, and basically they're the how-to. How can we focus forward? How can we play as a team? And how can we turn away from danger? I'll be a little bit wordy there. But before we do that, if you're going to continue to watch the next videos, you have homework. I gave you a gracious way to click off this video right before, so now you got homework. And you'll understand why. There's nothing I can say that's going to change the way we've wired our brains. You know, over the last 5 or 10 years, we've rewired our brains to two combating tribes. I have a mixed marriage at my house. My wife's in one tribe, and I have what I call my legacy tribe, the one that I grew up in. There's two different tribes, and they've been fighting all the time. So what I want you to do, this is homework, and I'm serious about this, because you're not going to be all that impressed with my yakety yak, but I want you to go in here, and this is where we keep pictures. Everybody has some pictures, but I want you to go find a child, your child, or your grandchildren, or a niece or nephew that is 0 or a newborn up to about 5 years old. And I want you to get that picture out so that every time when we're talking about the future, I want you to look at that precious child and see, because that's why we're doing all this. We're not going to really change what's in our head. But it's our responsibility to give that precious child at least the same good life that we got, good opportunities. You can't guarantee a good life, but we should be able to give them opportunities. So yes, I want you to go get a picture and hold it in your phone if you're going to listen to the rest of the yakety yak. And then one final plea. Just and I'm serious about this too. More than likely, like I've already said, this set of videos is not going to move us that far forward. Maybe it's a nudge. But we have to keep trying. I mean, isn't there a pit in your stomach about what we're passing on to the next generation? So I'm asking for someone, if you watch all the videos, I want you to then it'll be a smart person. And I welcome this. Look at what you think I did that worked well, and discard what didn't, and build on it and make it better. Please. We've got to keep trying. There's got to be 100 different ways to say this. Just think, this book was written 50 years ago, and it's still helping us navigate our future. So the notion that this video is the final answer, heavens no. So somebody go out, some smart person, take this work, build it, make it better. From now, safe landings, everyone.